Hey guys, 13 Tide here, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this little monster bookmark. It's a really fast, quick, easy design, and I can teach you how to make pretty much 4 at one time. So let's get started. For this project, you're going to use cardstock paper, which is in your upper right. For this project in particular, colorful cardstock paper is going to be your best approach at this. If you only have white, which is what I had until I went and bought some, you can also use the white, and if you want it to be colored, then just take regular old paper, which is the green paper in the left corner, and I will show you how to make the white cardstock paper look like it's green. It's really cool, and you'll know what I mean. So if you only have white, don't worry, just try and find a regular piece of colored paper, like printer paper. I would not use construction paper for this because I've tried it and it doesn't work very well, so yeah, don't want to do that. If you want to have more bright and elaborate colors, you can use origami paper, which I know is very bright and vibrant and colorful. So if you want to use that for this, it'll also work. You'll see what I mean when we get started and get making this. You also want to use a ruler. You can use glue or tape, whichever you prefer. I like using glue because the tape shows up and you can see where it's taped. You also need a Sharpie, a pencil, any kind, doesn't have to be mechanic, I just have one, and an X-Acto knife. Okay, so this scary piece of paper you see right in front of you is what you are going to be learning how to make, like, right now. So, let's learn how to make this. Alright, and as you see, I've started to, mark up my paper a little bit, just so I can show you quickly, or a little quicker, how to do this, but I'm still going to explain everything. So, what you're going to want to do is you need your ruler and your pencil for this. That's all you need. You're going to want to have your paper, I don't know what you call it. This is hot dog style. And you're just going to lay your ruler and put the edge there and mark it at 2.5 inches and 5 inches. So as you can see, there's 2.5 and there's 5 right there. And now you see how the tick is right next to it. It gets really confusing if I just keep going to the right. So now actually what you're going to want to do is put your ruler at 5 inches over here, and then you're going to want to go to mark 2.5 inches, and then where your ruler starts over here. So then you get an even 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, because that's how big each of your boxes are going to be. And then you're going to have that little column in the middle here. Then you're going to turn your paper hot dog or hamburger style, and you're going to want to go from the top and mark 2.5 inches and 3 little ticks. So 2.5, 5, and 7.5. And then you want to flip your paper and do the exact same thing that you did. So line it up and then go 2.5, 5, line it up on the side, go 2.5, and then the end of it, so 0. Then you're going to turn it, and this part you want to be very careful of, because you can't just go in and do your 2.5, 5, 7.5, because the lines here won't add up. You actually have to put your ruler on this side, the outside of your paper, so it's going to be upside down right now, but then you're going to go 2.5, 5, 7.5. So, if you're lost, it's so this and this mark line up, because if you did it where you just put it like this and you marked 2.5, 5, 7.5, the little mini tick will be over there, I guess. So if that made any sense, I hope it did, but just make sure that each of your lines line up when you're about to. So now you just want to trace all the way across and make your lines meet. Alright, so this is how it looks like with all the lines drawn in and everything. So now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this little middle section right here and put your ruler sideways like this. So here, go up and down, put your ruler here, and every inch you're going to mark. So we're just dealing with this little box. Every inch, actually, yeah, every inch you're going to mark a little tick. Go to your next box. And they should each be 2.5 inches if you did it right, each box. Alright, just like that, and you're going to draw on your lines again. Now this side, you're going to use your X-Acto knife and cut it off. So, we're just going to line this up. I'm actually going to turn this so I can see it, but you just want to cut it off. So line it up. Try and get it exact as possible. And cut. It's kind of hard to cut through cardstock paper sometimes, so you kind of should pretty easily tear off here. Just be careful. Look at that. Perfect line. And this I would save because it can be used for later. So now that you got the side cut off, you're going to want to, let me just explain how you're going to get 4 out of this. These 3 squares are one bookmark, these are another, these are another, and these are another. And this is just going to be cut off, used for something else. But right now we're just going to leave it there. So now what you want to do is you're going to leave this box, this box, this box, and this box blank. All the other boxes you're going to want to draw lines through. Now it's going to get confusing, so I'm going to show you what I mean. This box, this box is going to have a line going like this. Same with this one, and this one. So now I'm going to do that and show you guys. Okay, so I know my instructions were kind of confusing, but I hope that me drawing it actually makes it a little easier to follow. So now for the top part, you're going to want to have lines going this way, or, yeah, sorry, this way. These 2 boxes are going to be left alone, these 2 right here. So in the rest of them, you want lines going this way. Ta-da! So that's what I mean when I say which lines are staying the same, which ones aren't. So this is the piece of paper that I pretty much showed you at the beginning, and now it doesn't look too scary, does it? But now I want to show you the boxes you're not, or I guess triangles you're not going to use. So I'm going to use my Sharpie so you guys can tell better which ones aren't being used, but you can just use pencil and quickly scribble it out. So you're not going to use this triangle, 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 lots of triangles, and this one. Ta-da! So this is pretty much exactly what I showed you. Now these little tiny boxes in here, you can also scribble those off. Those aren't going to be used for anything. They're too small. Voila! So now, this is going to be one, this is going to be a bookmark, that's going to be a bookmark, and that's going to be a bookmark. And these can be used for the eyes. That's why I made those, and I just traced like around the edges to make a complete eye. So, yeah. Now let's get into cutting and showing you guys how to do this. So there's a lot of ways you can cut this to get started. One way I like to do it is cut along this line right here, and you don't need this piece of paper anymore for a while, so you can put that off to the side. And all you're going to need is this. First thing you're going to want to do is get rid of all the triangles you're not going to need. So let's do that right now. Alright, so now the black pieces are over there. So now all you're going to want to do is to separate these is cut this little line right here. Don't cut these sides. Don't cut this. Just cut from here to here. So I'm going to show you that right now. I would use a ruler, but I'm just going to freehand this. take my chances. I didn't push down hard enough in this, so we gotta try and pull it. Nope, it's not gonna work. Alright, let's try it now. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now you've got 2, and you're going to want to put one to the side. Now this is where your colorful paper comes in handy. I'm actually going to make... Hold on. Now here is my origami paper that I have. You can also use, or you can make this. This is going to look really confusing, but actually it's the exact same thing as what we made earlier, just a little less complicated. You're just going to take a regular sheet of paper and make a bunch of 2.5 by 2.5 boxes. So that's what I pretty much did here. I just kind of cut off the extra edges. I've had this laying around. And you're going to need one plain square, and then you're going to want to cut another one in half and use one of those. So I'm actually going to show you a bigger version instead of this complex version. But yeah, you're going to need one 2.5 by 2.5 and then a triangle of 2.5 cut in half. You'll see what I mean. Alrighty, so this is what your paper of 2.5 by 2.5 squares will look like, and all I did was cut off the end here that you won't need. So, bada bing, bada boom. That's how it's done. So now we'll go back to this. The first one I'm going to make is obviously going to be purple. So I'm going to take a half. It's like a triangle. And this is just regular paper. This isn't cardstock. If you have regular cardstock paper, you do not have to do this step. Unless you have like a cooler paper like design that you want to use or something. Go for it. You can even use duct tape. I just haven't tried. Maybe I'll show you guys that version later on. If you guys want me to try any different ways to do it, let me know. And now you're going to want to cut out a square. Actually, cut out 2 squares if you want to do the back. It'll look more professional, I guess. Alrighty. So now you're going to want to take your cardstock piece of paper, and you're going to want to take the one end and fold it in. Make a nice crease. You're just going to fold it into the other corner. See? That corner gets folded in. And then you're going to take this corner, well, unfold this, take this corner, and fold it in to the other corner. So, they just fold it in. Look at how nicely that folded in. This is why you want to cut very precise so it fits nicely. Before you do anything else, you're going to want to take one of your squares. Make sure it fits nice here. If you need to cut off from the ends here, that will be fine later on. So now, once you know it fits, you're going to want to take your glue or your tape and glue it down. And make sure your pencil side is facing up so you don't see any pencils when you do this. And make sure this pencil side is facing down also. Just make sure you smooth that down. And I'm using Craft Bond. It's supposed to be like better, but I don't know. We'll find out. Glue's worked out for me in the past. So there's a little that can be trimmed off. You can't even see, but it's like right here that can be trimmed off. So I'm going to trim that off just a little. Trim. Perfect. So now, to make this as messy, as least messy as possible, I guess, if that made any sense, you're going to want to flip this over and take the one triangle and put glue on it. The reason is, if you fold it over and put glue, there's a possibility you can get glue on here, and it's not fun to deal with that. So, because then you're going to want to put glue on here, and then fold that over. So you want to flip the whole thing over and put glue on one of the triangles. I do everything for a reason, guys. Now you're going to get a little bit of glue on your hands when you do this, though. So now you want to take your other triangle and fold it over. And if you have the little end sticking out, just try and push it in. Trying to make it look as neat as possible. Alright, so now you should have the little pocket in there. And all I did is I had a little bit of like excess stuff sticking out, so I just cut it off. So now you're going to want to take the purple triangle and glue this. Make sure the pencil side is down so you don't see it. We get some glue on the side here. And then my little work surface. So push that down nice and neatly. And you will see a little bit of the white on the side, but honestly, no one will care because they'll be too impressed in how the bookmark looked. Then glue the pencil side of your paper. And I know this is kind of late, but pencil side, I mean, is like when you have pencil showing. And glue it on to the back. And you gotta glue this side really, really, really well. Cut any little excess you have on there. And this is pretty much your bookmark. You can honestly leave it like this, but I'm going to make a monster out of it. So you're going to need like a white color for the teeth to make the little lines, and that can just be regular paper or cardstock paper. I usually will take my extra piece that I cut off earlier and like line it up like this and make just a little dash or a little tick mark like right on the outside here, and then I will just cut it with scissors and then flip it over and just like, or use the same side and just mark lines. Sorry, that was a little off camera. Use the same side the line was on and just make like teeth marks and then cut that out. So I'm going to show you that right now. So those are my pretty little teeth that I've got there, and I left a little part here so that I can know it'll glue on the inside flap of this. So now we're just going to cut that out and get it put in. Now that it's cut off, you're going to want to just cut the little end that you left and cut it inwards a bit so that it fits in your little guy. Actually, you're going to want him this way. And see how well it fits in. Mine actually fits pretty well. If it's a little small, then just kind of even it out in there. And then just do the best you can. It doesn't always even out. And then you want to take, if you have excess teeth, just cut those while you're holding it down. So now you want to take it out and just put glue on that and just stick it right back in. So now what you do is you take this other piece of paper that you had and you cut out these two little these two squares, and you just cut around them to make circles. So we're just going to quickly cut these. These don't have to be as precise, I guess. On here you do, because you don't want to mess up the other square. And I'm a freak about this, so I have to make it look nice. I'm just going to cut this extra box off because we have absolutely no use for it. So now you want to take him and cut them in half. I don't even know if I'm on the camera. Alright. And then just kind of cut the edges and to make them into like eyes. You can even use or like a circle maker, I guess. They use in like geometry and make them, but if you're pretty good at making circles, I would just make them yourself. So that's one. And you can make them to the same size, to different sizes, whatever you want. You can use googly eyes, and you don't even have to worry about this. But when I close my book, I like it to close pretty well. And with googly eyes, they stick out a lot. So I have about the same size eye, which is pretty good. So now you want to take your little guy and just glue the eyes on. I just put the little piece of paper on like this. There's one eye. And there's two eyes. Now he looks kind of funky like this, if you ask me. So now this is where I take my Sharpie, or you can use a colorful marker and just give him some eyes. And you make his eyes look all weird or funny or whatever you want to do. But this is your little bookmark. So you could say that was easy. Where's your that was easy button? Hey, look, I found one.
That was easy.
So now you know how to make this little guy, and you will never, ever, ever forget how to, or you'll never forget what your page is, and yeah, it'll keep your page very, very nice. And I thank my friend for lending me this book. I haven't given it back to her yet. Whoops. So now you guys know how to make these cute little guys, and now I'm going to show you a bunch of other ones I made. Just remember that if you had colored cardstock paper, you didn't have to use a couple more of the other steps. All you had to do was cut it out like this. This is a white piece of cardstock that was cut out, and all you have to do is this is a blue, so you just have to cut this out and then fold it in. You don't have to worry about gluing any different colors down or anything unless you want to. So, just wanted to clarify that. So these are some of the different monsters I've made. Some out of paper. I use googly eyes, duct tape. I cut out different shapes to make them. And I even made a mini one. So I'll teach you how to make a bunch of different ways in another video. I just want to show you the basic way to make one. So hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and leave a big thumbs up.
That was easy.